Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m., the 17th of November, Sunday evening. We're going to have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the Spanish press over the last couple of days or so, ever since the last live stream that I put out, some of the news stories that have been breaking, and also some comments that have been left on the channel by you guys, the viewers. And we'll also go into the chat section and see what is happening in the chat section in the second half of this evening's live stream, around the 18, 19, 20-minute mark of the live stream. Now, straight into the news, and more information coming to light about the tragic Dana in the Valencian community and other parts of southeastern Spain over 2 weeks ago now. And as we can see here, homes and garages were deadly traps for half of the Dana victims in Valencia. Homes and garages served as the main deadly traps for the victims of the devastating Dana that struck the province of Valencia on October the 29th. According to provisional data from the Data Integration Centre, the CID, 103 out of a total of 218 fatalities were found in the ground floors of homes, 68, and in parking garages and basements, 35. The violent torrent that affected numerous towns with traditional village homes where ground floors are often used as living spaces, which were devastated, along with many businesses. The largest percentage of victims, 24%, were aged 80 to 89, typically associated with mobility issues, which is one of the reasons they lived at street level. Nearly half of the victims were over 70 years old. We saw that news the other in a previous live stream, the breakdown of some of the victims, half the victims over 70, and we see people's homes and garages, the deadly traps. And if you've ever gone to these small villages in Spain, you know that there are a lot of single-story homes very close to the street. There's normally no front yard or anything like that. The doors are leading straight out onto the street, and those were the homes that turned out to be deadly traps, as we saw there, for victims in that tragedy. And also garages where people thought that their cars were going to be in danger. Looking back, probably a wrong decision, but they wanted to save their property. Their cars went down to the garage, and the flood levels rising very, very quickly and trapping people in their garages too. So that's the breakdown. Second piece of news here, and Pedro Sanchez is to appear in Congress, or the Spanish Parliament, on the 27th of November to report on Dana management. The government will submit a request to the Congress of Deputies this Monday, November the 18th, for Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez to appear before the full chamber to provide information about the government's handling of the Dana effects. According to sources at Government House Moncloa, who spoke with RTVE, the appearance is scheduled for the 27th of November, as Sanchez is set to travel to Brazil this week to attend G20 meetings. The sources noted that to date, the Minister of Territorial Policy and Democratic Memory, Ángel Víctor Torres, has already appeared in Congress, as well as the Minister of Defense, Margarita Robles, in the Senate. Additionally, the third Vice President of the government and Minister for the Ecological Transition and Demographic Challenge, Teresa Rivera, is scheduled to appear before Congress on Wednesday, November the 20th. Now, some people critical of Sanchez taking so long to appear before the Spanish Congress and explain what exactly his government has been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks ever since this Dana took place. Other ministers have appeared, but Pedro Sanchez been quiet on the matter. And that's where his critics are trying to attack him at the moment. But he's been around in India recently before the Dana, heading to Brazil for that summit. What was it? Some type of G20 summit there. So Mr. Sanchez to appear before Spanish Congress to give his point of view on the Dana management. Because as we know, A lot of politicians are under the spotlight at the moment, people scrutinising their movements during that dana on the tragic events of October the 29th. None more so than the Generalitat President, Mr. Mathon. We can see here that he denies being unreachable on that date, October the 29th, and criticises the central government's contradictions. The President of the Valencian Generalitat, Carlos Mathon, criticised the contradictions of the UME military emergency unit and the political manoeuvring of the PSOE party during his entry into the Integrated Operational Coordination Centre on Sunday. Mathon stated it is not true that he was unreachable on October the 29th and pointed out the UME's conflicting statements regarding whether they could act without the Generalitat's authorization. Additionally, the regional leader attributed the PSPV, the PSOE's calls to political parties in Valencia for his resignation to the nervousness surrounding the appointment of Minister Teresa Rivera as a European Commissioner. Mathon urged for an end to the rumours and lies about his actions on the afternoon of October the 29th, emphasising that he was not out of contact and even spoke with the mayor of Cullera. He further claimed that the government keeps falling into one contradiction after another through its entities. So basically that's where we're at the moment. The two governments, the Valencian government and the central government, going back and forth, accusing each other of bad management during that Dana crisis. On the day, the 29th, Mr. Mathon saying that he was reachable, even though he was at a long lunch until 6 p.m. And some people saying that maybe he wasn't checking his phone all that often. And the rumours are circulating as to what exactly he was doing on that day. You talk to different people, you get a different version of what was happening on the 29th as far as Mr. Mathon was concerned. And he spoke for a few hours the other day, I think. He stood up in front of the Valencian Parliament and spoke, but I don't think we got any concrete answers from Mr. Mathon about what happened on that tragic day, as I said. But the people of Valencia are fed up, as you can imagine, this toing and froing between the central government and the Valencian government as to who was to blame or who is to blame. And as I said, people are fed up and they have again taken to the streets of Valencia. Hundreds have gathered in that city demanding the resignation of Carlos Mathon and Pedro Sanchez. Hundreds of people gathered on Saturday in Valencia's Plaza de San Agustin to call for the resignation of the President of the Valencian Generalitat, Carlos Mathon, and the Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. The demonstrators blame both leaders for their handling of the October 29 Dana. The rally, organised by the group Revuelta, began at 8 p.m. and proceeded without incident. At around 8:20 p.m, attendees observed a minute of silence for the victims of the catastrophe, followed by the playing of the Valencian community anthem. During the protest, Spanish flags, some pre-constitutional, and Valencian community flags were visible. The demonstrators carried signs with messages such as "Sanchez, rest in peace," and "There is no good PSOE," and they also chanted slogans like "Sanchez, Mathon, they're all the same trash." Now, obviously, you need to understand the Spanish version for those chants to make sense, or those messages to make sense, but people angry. Not the 100,000 or so people that gathered a couple of weeks ago, but hundreds gathering in Valencia, calling for the resignation of those two leaders, the Valencian Premier and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Good luck with that, because if nobody has resigned yet, nobody, I don't think, is going to resign. But I could be wrong. But given what I've seen over the last 25 years living here, not many politicians do resign. Not many, if any. Into the comment section now, one here from Mary Fergie. With the greatest numbers of reported deaths being people over 70 years old, I guess that means people did not die in cars floating away. Mary, not sure. I'm sure there were a few people that were trapped in their cars and unfortunately lost their lives during those heavy rains. Maybe they were driving over a bridge when it collapsed or something like that, or got washed away in the heavy currents or streams. So there were some people, but the majority, as we saw elderly people trapped in their homes or garages, and those are the numbers that are coming to light. They're still finding bodies that have been washed away in some parts of the Valencian community close to the area where the floods hit. They're still finding bodies in reeds and waterways and things like that. So we haven't got a final death toll. I'm sure that will come in coming weeks or maybe longer when everybody who has been reported missing, the body is found. Next one here from Rich. Stu, what about a mention about Malaga and the storms that have happened over there? I get you rarely mention Malaga, but you should be able to give a little information. I'm really becoming disappointed in your coverage of Malaga and leftist politics beliefs that are coming out now. Let's be mindful in middle of the road when reporting anything. I think most people just want the truth and facts. Well, I don't know what this person's talking about, Rich, because I did a full video, more than 30 minutes, talking with somebody, Mark, to be precise, from Malaga. We talked about those floods. So watch the channel, watch the videos. You might see the videos about Malaga. And I also spoke about Malaga last week when it did flood, but there were no casualties, I don't think, in Malaga. Businesses were destroyed. Some homes were destroyed, cars were swept away, but no casualties, no fatalities like in Valencia, which is the news dominating at the moment. So the Malaga storms, yes, they happened, but they weren't to the same extent, the same magnitude as the Valencian ones. Therefore, I haven't dedicated, and I won't be dedicating as much time to them. And as far as the political mention that you say here, leftist political beliefs that are coming out now, get off the weed, my man, because that's just absolute rubbish. One here from Okacha. I believe the salt is not found on the tables in restaurants because of the humidity that ends up clogging the salt cellar. Maybe in some parts of the country this could be true. The reason why you don't get salt and pepper on the tables because it does get clogged with the humidity, perhaps if you were in a humid part of the country. But here in Madrid, I don't think that would be the case. And I haven't seen, I deliberately looked around at the restaurant the other day that I went to for salt and pepper, and on the tables it was not to be found. You can ask for it, they'll bring it over, but physically sitting on the table, salt and pepper, no. But humidity could be one of the reasons. I don't know. Another one here from Michael. Hi, Stuart. I think that the scrapping of the golden visa is all about optics and will do little to resolve the housing crisis. Take care and God bless, Michael. Thanks, Michael, for that. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be of this opinion that the golden visa that has now been officially scrapped, I think, or at least it was approved in Congress or Parliament the other day, the scrapping of this visa, because Pedro Sanchez does claim that it is distorting the housing market in this country with rich people buying up property. But as I said, Michael and others believe that it's optics only and will have little effect on the housing crisis in this country. So we'll see, but I reckon Michael could be on the money there. Another one here from Paul. Was chucked out of a supermarket as the warning started to sound out on all the customers' phones, but glad to know that they are taking the dana seriously. Good to be inconvenienced and keep people safe. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, that was we spoke about this the other day also, Mark and myself, that the alarms went off in different parts of the country, even with an orange alert, I think, maybe a red alert, I'm not sure, but a lot more cautious now, of course, after the events on October the 29th, and authorities don't want a repeat of what happened. So that's why when you're in the supermarket, the alarms all go off simultaneously. It's very loud, very noisy, and getting kicked out of the supermarket, they probably shut up shop, and workers went home, because that was also something that when there's a red alert, the government minister, the work minister or the labour minister says that people don't have to go to their jobs if there's a red alert. And I'm sure that was probably what was going on in Gandia. Thanks, Paul. And the final one here from Ken. I've seen the Governor wine at the supermarket, but never tried it. Always went with a Rioja, and I paid a bit over €4, but that was in 2021. So I guess it would be €5+ now. Been trying to move back to Spain since I left, but now that I have an offer on my house, I'm a bit mixed. I think I'll spend my 90 days in house hunt, but not sure. Thanks, Ken, for that. Yeah, the Governor wine, a lot of people seem to like this Mercadona special, the Governor, but there is a better wine, in my opinion, if you're willing to pay a couple of euros more. I understand that people are not willing to pay €5 for a wine, but I think it's a decent price for the quality of that Rioja that Ken is talking about there. I can't remember the name, but I bought two the other day. I think it's Comportillo, maybe, or something like that. And it is a very decent wine for the price. Still under €5 if that's the one we're speaking about. I think it is, as I said, around $4.95 I think I paid. So decent price for a decent wine. The Governor, $2.65, $2.70. So cheap, but pay a little bit more and you get a superior wine, I believe, even though I haven't tried the Governor, so I can't really speak. But from what I can gather, it's a very young, sweet wine, where the €5 one is a 2017 Reserva. So a more mature wine, let's say. Thanks, Ken, for that. Hope all goes well with your move, if that is indeed what you end up doing. Now we're going to go to the chat section in just a moment. Before I get there, I'm going to change the backdrop. This one was sent in by Brent, who was recently walking the Camino Primitiva, I think it's called, from Asturias to Galicia. Says it was very, very difficult and is currently trying to recover, I think, in another part of Spain, is Brent. But we can see here the lovely scenery that you get when you do these caminos here in Spain, in the north of the country. That green scenery, the mountainous scenery, the rivers that weave their way through the scenery. Beautiful. Thanks, Brent, for that. And if anybody else has a picture they would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is that one there, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your pictures or news or whatever else you want to send my way. That's the email address. As I said, feel free to do that. The like icon is also going on the screen for people that might not have hit the like icon yet. We're currently at 49. So if we can hit that like icon, please. Just below the video you will find it, and give the video a thumbs up just below the video, as I said. People that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, whether it's the super thanks option on YouTube, Patreon supporters, thank you very much for that. Longer term supporters also on YouTube, people that join as members of the YouTube channel, your support is invaluable. Thank you very much for that. And I think we got a super chat come through a couple of minutes ago, so I'll get to that soon. Into the chat section I'm going. Let me scroll up to the top here. Marcus is the super chat regular contributor to the channel. Bona tarde desde Palma de Mallorca. Marcus gets around also in mainland Spain one day, Balearic Islands the next. Thanks, Marcus, for that. Hope all is well. Andrew, first person that I can see in the chat here, hoping we're well also and having a great weekend. Love the foodie video, in the Venta de San Jose. Buena comida de cuchara, que rica, from a bright but fresh London southeast. What's that time of the year, Andrew, isn't it? The comida de cuchara, spoon, meals, soups, and stews and things like that, which go down well on those cold days in La Mancha, which, it wasn't that cold the other day, but it was on the menu. Al gets around, so obviously a conversation going on there. Barbara's in the chat too. Been a pleasant, sunny 20 degrees Celsius where Barbara is today. Good to see you, Barbara. Amanda's in the chat from a cold UK. Just going back to Barbara, she sent me through some photos today, so thanks for those, Barbara. We'll get around to seeing them on the backdrop soon. TOL is in the chat. Flying to Spain next Saturday. We'll be in El Puerto, a.k.a. Cruzcampo, Bahala. Is that the word there? Until January. Thanks, Al. So back in Spain soon. High Flyer John's in the chat. Enjoyed the conversation video yesterday. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks, John. Yeah, it was an interesting chat with Mark down there in Malaga, or Malaga province, of course, Fuengirola, or Fuengirola, as people would say. What else? Janet's coming in from Oxford today. Good to see you, Janet, too. Jane coming in from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Good to see you, Jane. Hope all is well in that part of the world. Gino also coming in from Canada. Is it still, Gino? Hope you're well as everyone else. Thanks for that. Statistics are shocking. Poor people. Thanks, Janet. Absolutely, yeah. People with mobility issues that were trapped in their homes when the waters started to invade their abodes. It's very sad news. Stephen coming in from North London. Hope everyone is well. Happy to be watching from Torrevieja. Lovely day, 20 there. Nice change from North London. So Stephen's back in Spain. Good one, Stephen. Hope you are, as you said, enjoying the weather down there. Antonio is in the chat too. Hello, everyone. Good to see you, Antonio. Erica is here, coming in from Terrassa in Catalonia. Hope you all had a great weekend. Thanks for that, Erica. Hope you did too. Heidi coming in, hoping everyone is well too. Good to see you, Heidi. Long time no see. The Jazz Shed. Hi, Stu. Wow, caught a live stream. Good evening, everyone, from a nice, bright Bury St. Edmunds. Hope the pronunciation's correct there with the Bury St. Edmunds. Just started watching. We love the food videos. Great stuff. Many thanks. Well, I'm going to try and do more food videos because I like doing them. I like sitting down and eating and sharing my experiences because there is a lot of things to explore, a lot of different types of food dishes to explore in this country. So that's going to be my objective for the next few months at least. So mix it up a bit, hit the road, record some towns, off the road towns, get something to eat while I'm there, and that'll be the content focus, along with the news, of course. Erica said, had a great weekend going to Paris to watch the rugby match, the All Blacks versus France. A difficult one as Erica's half French and half Kiwi. Nothing like being retired and doing such a crazy thing. Thanks, Erica, for that. Hope it was a good game. Not sure who won, but I'm sure it was a good game between those two countries. Spot on, Stuart, says Antonio. Thanks for that. Probably talking about something that I mentioned during the news, I imagine. Amanda's saying, we in the UK have a different terrible event which has been covered up right from the top. Hopefully the truth will come out as people deserve the truth. It seems to be a pattern. Not sure exactly what Amanda's referring to there, but thanks for that, Amanda. No politician will resign, says Heidi, as it means admitting they made a mistake. That is true. That is true. Sani's coming in from Basingstoke, hoping everyone had a good weekend. Thanks, Sani, for that. Philip from Chile. North London, is that? Or must be North London. Thanks, Phil. Many Spanish restaurants on the coast do put salt on the table and they add rice to soak up the humidity and keep the salt dry. Yeah, I've seen that happen. That is true. But here in Madrid, where it is not humid, in fact, this would be one of the driest climates I've ever lived in, I think. Very, very dry here, humidity-wise, that is. They don't tend to do it. And nowadays, I notice you get a little packet of salt, a little satchel of salt nowadays, rather than the little plastic bottle that you used to get back in the day. Mark is saying that my understanding is that the total spend needs to be around 500,000. Could be spread across various homes, just like the sort of housing which is ideal for short-term rentals and young locals. Yeah, Marcus, I think that was the case with the Golden Visa. You could invest the amount of money, of course, and buy more than one property. I think that was the case. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Marcus also saying that the governor, in his opinion, a lot like Ribena, drinkable, certainly, subtle, not at all, just his opinion. Yeah, that's seems to be a fairly common consensus with that wine. Very, very young. For the price, I think, what did I say, $260, $270? I mean, you're not going to get a structured wine for that price, right? So drinkable, sure. But is it going to be an enjoyable wine? Well, depends on what you like to drink, right? Joe saying, I've read somewhere that one of the reasons why Spanish restaurants typically don't have salt and pepper on the tables is because it's considered bad luck when it's spilt. Could be, Joe. Could be. Could be. What else? Let's have a look here. Bob, back with us after 3 weeks. Spent the last night binge watching to catch up on the salt humidity problem, trying to put some rice into the salt cellar. There we go. Yeah, the humidity is an issue when it comes to salt, of course. Andrew bought a couple of bottles of the Governor red wine for his birthday, and it was rank. Could have stripped paint with it. Very poor quality for the price they charge here in the UK. Well, what does it go for there, Andrew? Probably, what is it, £5 maybe? Less? Don't know. It was rank. Haven't heard that word for a while. Thanks. Andrew, Super Chat here too. £10. Have a drink on me. Thank you very much. Hard work keeping us informed and entertained. Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. Generous from you there. Erica also enjoyed the conversation last night. Interesting to hear about what happened in Malaga. Yeah, a few people have sent me through photos today also of some of those waterways that head down to the Mediterranean there in Malaga. Thanks for that also. Flutter Girl coming in from Toronto. I would be so scared to be out in a restaurant or supermarket and suddenly all of our cell phones started to receive the same loud alert. Yes, I imagine it would be a little bit worrying, not only for the customers but also for the staff, to try and get people out and get them on their way back to somewhere safe, if that's possible. When we're not knowing when those rains are going to hit or where they're going to hit, because that was part of the issue in Valencia. They didn't actually hit in the towns that were destroyed. They hit further up in the mountains and the water came down. So that's the issue as well. Casa del Sol Boutique and Breakfast, making mango overnights. Lara watching the fantastic live stream. Thanks for that, Casa del Sol Boutique Bed and Breakfast. The, what's this? What's that? Pronunciation? Don't know what that means. Governor is a good foot washing wine. There we go. Sums it up. What else? Pronunciation is spot on. The Governor is very sweet. Yeah, I think that, well, compared with Ribena, as we saw, £8.50 £8.50 in the local supermarket. Someone's having a laugh with that. Someone is having a laugh. £8.50. What does it sell for here? I think it's not more than a €3 wine. So what's that in euros? That's maybe 10 euros, is it? Maybe a little bit more. So, wowee. Somebody is doing a good business with the Governor in the UK. Now, that's the end of the chat. Can't see anything else here, so I'm going to start to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back again on Tuesday with another one. Thursday as well, but Tuesday first. Hope to see you all then. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.